あれ、人の死には慣れてるつもりだったんですけどね。
So when it comes to Ningen Fushin, I have been so hot and cold on this anime, it's not even funny. Like, this episode, this arc with Zem, this arc with the Steppy Man, this arc with Naogawa, the former priest, I think was probably one of the most well-written arcs, but it was ruined still. And that's kind of where my hot and cold relationship comes with this anime, is I think that it has moments of brilliance and it has moments of just pure awfulness. And I think, like, when I'm watching this, right, I think this episode was really good overall. I think it brought the Steppy Man arc to a close. I think it was a good 3-episode arc focused around Zem, focused around his redemption, focused around him re-honing in his zen, Zem holding in his zen, refocusing on what his values are, what all of that mean to him. I think all of that was really well written. I think it was plagued by specifically 2 main things. It was plagued by the fact that they introduced one more character in White Mask, which I don't like. I think that kind of disingenuousness, like that, it kind of disincentivizes us as a viewer from watching this really well written arc, especially as we are on episode 11. And Ningen Fushin at this point, it only has 12 episodes. So we have 1 episode left. So obviously we're not going to get any kind of, real closure to any of the things that they just introduced to us. So they introduced this new character, White Mask. Okay, so that kind of just it disincentivized this whole entire storyline by saying, oh, well, there was one more evil person. And then at the end of the episode, we have this Katie girl, or whatever the hell the green hair girl's name is. So we find out that she is actually the reason she's so strong, she's actually like Bond. And she is actually called the Sword of God or something like that. And she is a program that was inceptualized in the same kind of manufacturing warehouse that Bond was at some point. And she's basically a weapon. And she's going to join the survivors. She's going to join the group. Basically, they recruited her, essentially. But she's actually a weapon. She's not really even a person. She does, have different personality and traits and things like that. But really, she is a weapon. So they're introducing these 2 major plot things right at the end of the season. And honestly, I've seen 0 people talk about this anime, and possibly for good reason in some cases. And that leads me to believe like this is probably not going to get any kind of season 2. So we're not going to get any closure whatsoever to these really large storylines that they just introduced to us. So that is where my continual disappointment with this anime comes from, and that hot and cold view on it comes from as well. So I think this was a really well-written arc. I think Zem's redemption story was really good. I think him finding somebody who can, how do you say it? I think him finding somebody who can motivate him and inspire him, and he wants to save, but ultimately needing to let them go and understanding that their death isn't meaningless. I think all of that was really well written, and this is where those moments of brilliance definitely comes in. Like, the writing was really exceptional, but it's completely shot over and muddied over by the introduction of another forbidden weapon user in this White Mask guy. It's completely muddied by the introduction of the girl who was already introduced to us, but the fact that she's now this weapon, and there's something more basically saying, okay, these adventures are going to save the world, blah, blah, blah. So it's reintroducing that fact, so I understand where it's coming from, but I just think it's too little too late, and it's introducing this whole massive other plot line as a continuance, but at the same time, there is not going to be a continuance because we have 1 more episode left. So next episode, we have to assume is a throwaway episode. The last episode of the season is probably going to maybe leave off on some kind of cliffhanger or something like that, and probably never really get, kind of really any satisfaction out of the ending at all. So that's where my problem with this hot and cold relationship with this anime comes from. But I think the Naogawa story with his daughter, I think him realizing that he's removing other people's children was very important. There's a really good, writing, format there. There's a really good storyline there. There's a really good inspiration there. There's really good lessons to be learned there, as maybe he was thinking in a way of ignorance and thinking that he wasn't removing other people's children by trying to solve this. He was trying to give his own daughter's death meaning based on the actions that happened to her, but he was removing other people's sons and daughters by not really thinking this through. And I think him you know, like him learning this huge mistake that he did, and then trying to not overcome it, but just take responsibility for it, I think was all really important. And it all stemmed into teaching Zem a higher life lesson as well, and what his meaning will be in the world. So I think all that was flashes of brilliance. I think the flashes of disappointment, the flashes of awfulness come in from all these introductions that they do after the fact that just remove any of the impact that it had to me. But I don't know. That's my thoughts on this episode. I think it was okay. I'm just sad at the way that this did this. I wish there was more of the brilliance and less of the awfulness. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and I'll see you guys next week for the last episode. All right. Chat with you guys in the comments. Peace out.